a model of the World Trade Center Tower 1. I have 11 eggs in there that represents the 110 floors. And I'm going to try to drop the top two eggs onto the rest of the floors. The top two eggs represents about 20 floors. To see if with that we'll be able to break any of the eggs underneath. Okay, are we ready? Here's the 2 eggs. As we can see, I've broken 1, 2 on the top eggs, and top egg is actually not broken. The 2 eggs underneath is broken, and this egg, the third one, is fine. It's not broken. It's a little messy, but at least it shows that there is no way you could drop and destroy the 9 eggs underneath. Hello friends, we are fast approaching the 15-year anniversary of September 11, 2001. That tragic day that has affected us all in many ways. National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, the government agency that was tasked to figure out why and how the World Trade Center towers WTC 1 and 2 collapsed, stated in their final report that the normal office fires generated through enough heat that softened the steel beam supporting the building structure, which started the collapse of the top section that in return crushed the lower section of the towers in what is known as a pile driver. To my great disappointment, all the scientific and academic institutions remained quiet on this issue, and the few that have spoken supported the government assertion. It is clear that these organizations, along with media, are putting their interests ahead of the national interests of this country and thousands of people that have lost their lives since then. Because of this unconvincing explanation and the speed that these buildings fell, we have been forced to rely on the internet to figure out what had happened that day. This unfortunately has led to endless arguments as to whether there were even any planes involved, or fire could melt steel, or that the explosives were used to bring down these buildings to no end. I can only imagine the people who committed these crimes laughing on the sideline, thinking this is exactly what they wanted, creating confusion and endless arguments. Even if we assume the plane and the resulting fire totally destroyed the 5 impacted floors and removed all the supporting steel structure, we are still left with only 15 top floors. Physics tells us, in fact, it's impossible for this top 15 floor section of WTC1 to destroy the lower 90 floors due to the force of gravity alone. Let me explain this fact by using the laws of physics and a few simple examples. Newton's third law of motion states, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This simply means that in this case, when 2 bodies collide, the force of collision is applied equally to both bodies, and that the top 15 floors could never destroy the bottom 90 floors, as itself would have been destroyed due to the force of the impact, and since it's receiving the equal and opposite force. There are a few examples of this physical fact. Lift your hand and rather forcefully hit the top of a table. Now repeat the same action, but this time hit the table harder. Your hand will surely hurt more the second time around. Since the more force you apply to the table, the more force is also applied to your hand. A second example is anyone who has ever fired a rifle knows about the rifle's recoil. When a bullet leaves the muzzle, it also pushes the rifle back into your shoulder. Recoil is the opposite force of the energy of the bullet leaving. We also have all seen car accidents. NIST would have you believe that a small compact car can collide with a semi-truck and destroy it in the process. As we all know, this is not the case. The small car would be lot worse off than the big truck. These and many similar examples of physical laws that can be compromised. Potential energy due to gravity is measured using a simple formula, E equal mgh. M stands for mass, h stands for height, and g is the constant gravitational force of Earth. Even though we can measure this energy, it's not important at this time. What is important is that this energy is a limited amount. And as the top structure is destroyed and losing mass, it's also losing energy. And once the mass is gone, there is no more energy left to destroy the rest of the building. Now that we understand the forces involved and what is possible and more importantly impossible, I have devised a simple experiment that anyone can conduct in their own home and verify these findings. I call it the egg challenge. Please refer to my short video that I have included. As you can see, I have done this experiment using eggs, but you can use any stackable and breakable material. Items such as ice, snow, sand, and even glass can be used. Do not let the people that push the government narrative intimidate you. All you have to do is give them 11 eggs and ask them to crush 9, only using 2, and watch them sweat. To get this information to the general public and force a new investigation, I'm calling for the egg challenge in the month of September 2016. I'm asking all high school and college students to conduct similar tests in public and force people to discuss these facts and demand that the criminals that brought these buildings down and killed many people be held accountable. I thank you for viewing, forwarding, and participating in this challenge. As you can see, this is World Trade Center 1. This is before attack. These are the specifications. Height is 420 meters. Weight is 500 million kilograms and 110 floors. According to the architects, they were basically divided into 3 sections. The lower third was 3 times the strength. The middle section was 2 times the strength, and the top portion was normal strength because this bottom portion had to support the weight of the upper floors. And here's after the attack. We have top 15 floors. That's basically crashing into the lower 90 floors, and we have 5 floors that are destroyed by the plane, where the plane hit. Now, Newton's third law of motion tells us for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. That basically means when the 2 bodies collide, the force of the collision is applied equally to both sides. So when this is colliding into here, it's hitting against the bottom floor. The bottom floor is hitting up, basically pushing upwards toward the top floors. So these floors would exert the same pressure, destructive pressure on them than the lower floors. And according to Newton's third law of motion, this would be destroyed, the 15 floors, as it destroys the other 15 floors, maximum 15 floors on the lower portion. And there is no way this could actually destroy and go all the way down to the bottom of the World Trade Center and destroy the rest of the floors. Thank you. Here's a model of the World Trade Center Tower 1. I have 11 eggs in there that represents the 110 floors. And I'm going to try to drop the top two eggs onto the rest of the floors. The top 2 eggs represents about 20 floors. To see if with that we'll be able to break any of the eggs underneath. Okay, are we ready? Here's the 2 eggs. As we can see, I've broken 1, 2, and the top eggs, and top eggs is actually not broken. The 2 eggs underneath is broken, and this egg, the third one, is fine. It's not broken. It's a little messy, but at least it shows that there is no way you could drop and destroy the 9 eggs underneath.